Well, it's almost golf shirt weather in Edmonton, but here in Winnipeg, still frosty. And inside Canada Life Center for the second time in 10 days, the Edmonton Oilers look to extend Winnipeg's misery while solidifying its own hold right now on first place in the Pacific, at least a share. Calvin Pickard, a big reason why the Oilers got out of that game 10 days ago with a victory. 41 saves, matching an Oiler high. It was probably his best regular season start ever as an Oiler. And that man, Connor Hellebuyck, continues to try to break Winnipeg out of the slump that has seen them drop 10 in a row. Hellebuyck has lost 9 of those 10 games as he makes his 11th start in 12 tonight. And that man, Leon Draisaitl, has beaten Connor Hellebuyck 21 times, the most goals by any active player against any active goaltender. Here we go, Edmonton and Winnipeg for the third and final time this year. The Oilers with 3-1 and 6-2 victories in their 2 previous encounters. Draisaitl wins the opening faceoff, and we're underway. Draisaitl centering tonight. Kasperi Kapanen with a thunderous hit on Dylan DeMello. A tone center 10 seconds in. Put Colson on the other wing. Ekholm and Bouchard defensively. And an offside whistled against Winnipeg. Your starting lineup brought to you by Bet99.net. Louis, you and I have been on Kapanen all year long. I can't imagine a better way to start a game 10 seconds in.
Well, you know what? This is two guys.
Oh, sorry, that's what Colson.
It's all right. Kapanen was on the forecheck as well, but it's the speed we talked about from last game. I thought one of the fastest, if not the fastest game that Edmonton played this year. And Kapanen started it off there with a big hit in the offensive zone on Brady Shea in the first period. Get on the forecheck, disrupt play, because the last time these two teams met, Jack, Winnipeg dictated play a lot, spent a lot of time in the offensive zone. But for Kapanen, it's the speed that he possesses right now, and he's excited to be back in the lineup for Chris Knobloch and the Oilers, and they're happy to have him back in the lineup. They need that physicality, they need that speed, and they possess it early on in this one as Putt, Colson, and Kapanen get hard on the forecheck.
This line combined for 7 points on Tuesday night in the 6-2 thrashing of Nashville. The Oilers now 15-1-2 in their last 18 against the Preds. They'll get them again next week in Music City as Lowry and Draisaitl line up for a face-off to Pickard's right-hand side. I can't even use the beam as an excuse for that one, Louis. Thanks for cleaning me up. Here's Putt Colson with a stretch play looking for Kapanen. Broken up, and Lowry will toss it back behind the Oiler defense where it's recovered by Bouchard. Swung to Ekholm, held in for the Jets by DeMello, who was on the receiving end of that big hit from Putt Colson, the team leader in that category. Niederreiter and Lowry hovering as Edmonton having trouble breaking the puck out. Ekholm finally gets it up to Isaac Howard. Probably his best NHL game the other night against Nashville, even though he didn't get on the score sheet. Erased by a hard hit from Luke Shen, the veteran D-man for the Jets. Shot by Stastny and a save made by Hellebuyck. Rebound grabbed by Roslovic, who had the game winner 10 days ago in this building against the team that drafted him in the first round. Howard, quick shot, another save. Hellebuyck wasn't sure he had it, but he did. Talking about Glenn Hall, Hellebuyck, 9 straight losses, most by a reigning Vezina winner since Terry Sawchuk, who Glenn Hall replaced in Detroit.
There you go. And, you know, another big hit here by Luke Shen, playing an 11:01. His 1100th game was Tuesday, and he scored a goal in that game. Pretty big one for him, but it's the forecheck of Edmonton once again. This line was good on Tuesday night when they were put together. Roslovic with a couple of youngsters in Savoy, and Howard once again buzzing the tower.
You weren't rude enough to bring up the fact it was his first in 110 games, were you?
Well, I think it was 99, but you know what? His kids brought it up. I'll tell you what. Kingston, his oldest son, before he went to the game that day, said, "Dad, it's time to score a goal. Are you going to score? Get one, because I'm sick and tired of asking you." And he finally did put one in. So, pretty good story for Luke Shen, who's battled himself to 1,101 games and wants to continue playing.
Well, and he's done a great job. I mean, remember 7 or 8 years ago, he was in the minor leagues, and he worked his way back and has really had almost a second career. Morrissey shoots it in.
An amazing reemergence,
yes,
to be honest. And he's kind of one of those players, and there's a lot of talk now that maybe he's somebody that other teams are going to be looking for to try and pick up, depending on how the Winnipeg Jets either climb out of this hole they're in right now or whatnot. But he's a guy you always want to add to your lineup. Big, physical, simple, won a couple Stanley Cups with the Tampa Bay Lightning. he'd be a good guy to inject into your lineup.
Waited a long time to get postseason success. He was only in the playoffs twice in his first 11 years in the league. Here's Neil Pionk, batted out of midair by Jonathan Toews, starting to come alive and be more dangerous. 4 assists in his last 6, but a long-time Chicago Blackhawk standout without a goal in his last 25. Here's the end mark, banking one off to Trent Frederick, who draws back into Edmonton's lineup. As Gene Principe talked about, Adam Henrique expected out through the Olympic break. Logan Stanley returning after a 1-game suspension for a sucker punch on Brady Tkachuk. Knocked away from Danny Gilk. And you know what? Gilkin almost scored there from the right circle. That caught the outside of the post.
First NHL game, that would have been his first shot on net. Wow, what a start that would have been. But it did graze the side of the net bar for sure on a quick little release in the slot.
Danny Gilkin making his NHL debut. Coming out of the lineup is Vlad Nemestikov. Another slumping Jet offensively. Here's Draisaitl in transition against Stanley. Butt hook fell down, still ragging the puck to Podkolzin and back to Darnell Nurse. Only Leon can make that look graceful. Here's Podkolzin back to Draisaitl, coming off a 3-point night against Nashville. Shrugs off a check from Scheifele, but a centering pass intercepted by Follow and cleared by Kyle Connor, who's scored in back-to-back games. Winnipeg blew another lead on Tuesday, up 2-0 and 3-2 against Vegas, lost in overtime. And they've lost 5 consecutive games now when scoring first. Centering pass inside to Connor. That was raked away by Roslovic. Brings it up through center, kicks it back to Stastny. And now he'll take a skate as both teams complete changes. Ty Emberson shoots it in on the back end. Alec Regula out for the Oilers. And coming into the lineup is Riley Stillman. Protecting down low is Matt Savoy. Twisted by Sandberg up to Cole Perfetti. He just broke out a 16-game goalless drought in that aforementioned loss to Vegas. Savoy from Roslovic puts the brakes on. A shot on net, kicked away by Hellebuck. The rebound up to Emberson, briefly held it in. Taves did not get it out. Howard tried to nudge it ahead for Savoy, taken away by Perfetti. Howard and Savoy, palpable chemistry the other night against Nashville. Narrowly missed scoring a couple times.
You're seeing it again in this one early, Jack.
Here's McDavid, that 16-game point streak, breaking through 2 men, but not a third. Morrissey off to Neil Pionk up the right-hand side. Adam Lowry, who broke his own dry spell against Edmonton 10 days ago. Missed the start of the year, had hip surgery. Starting to feel like himself again. Morgan Barron a shot. A kick save made by Picker. Taken by Niederreiter. Ekholm cuts off the cycle. Niederreiter collided with the official. And that broke up the cycle right there. Nugent Hopkins able to muscle it out against Lowry. Drop it for Zach Hyman. Go back inside to Nugent Hopkins, who angled one off the boards for Bouchard. Now Connor McDavid gets around Lowry. Heading for the net. Makes a move. And the penalty has been drawn in front. I'm not sure whether McDavid drew it or Hyman drew it. Hyman went down, but McDavid also moving might have taken a slash.
This period brought to you by James H. Brown Accident Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters in injury law.
It's going to be Niederreiter heading to the penalty box. Here's Gilkin, as you mentioned here, his first chance on net in the National Hockey League. Good forechecking. He just kind of rips this puck as he gets to the middle. A good chance. This backhand pass was labeled far side. You can see Nurse was coming down back door. Great defensive play by Iafallo to break that up. And there's the slash right there, and a little bit of a hook into the hands by Niederreiter. As McDavid, as he often does, if he catches you flat-footed, he's going to test you. He draws the call.
Power play brought to you by Play Alberta. A steal by Jonathan Taves off the draw. And Taves, who spent 15 often brilliant years in Chicago winning 3 cups, drains some time off the penalty clock. Winnipeg's given up 7 power play goals in their last 5 games. All defeats, obviously, as they've dropped 10 in a row. Neil Pionk Clears length of the ice. The 81 and 94 Jets also lost 10 straight. Bouchard to McDavid, challenged by Cole Koepke at the line. Swinging around the boards for Leon Draisaitl, headed poked away by Sandberg. Edmonton must regroup. League's #1 power play, a shade under 34%. Draisaitl to McDavid, gets it back from Bouchard. Pressure arrives from Barron, so it's Bouchard. Nugent Hopkins got it through Barron to McDavid, cuts inside, backhander to save. Hellebuck holding sway to keep it scoreless 7 minutes in. Still 53 seconds left, and the penalty to Niederreiter.
Solid penalty killing here by the Winnipeg Jets, and they've been aggressive, and they're going to try and do this throughout the game. You've got to navigate and make quick little passes. Nugent Hopkins with a little delay to get this puck down onto the wall to McDavid, then he just attacks. I mean, incredible footwork and hands to walk around a few sticks and get that backhand opportunity on net.
Edmonton a share of first place in the Pacific. Draisaitl pulls the draw back to Bouchard. Nugent Hopkins down low looking for McDavid. Winnipeg, meanwhile, a year after winning the President's Trophy with the league's best overall record, dead last in the National Hockey League standings. They're 11 points out of a spot. His 10-game losing streak has him at 15-21-5. Draisaitl from McDavid, flipped it back to McDavid, tried to center, deflected toward the net by DeMello. Hellebuck fought that one off, and then Draisaitl tried to feed the net front, and that was picked off. McDavid to Hyman, backdoor, and Draisaitl had it blocked. A lunge by 6'7" Logan Stanley might have saved a goal. Draisaitl again, clubbed it wide from Nugent Hopkins. Edmonton peppering that Winnipeg net. Draisaitl feeds Bouchard. Nugent Hopkins back to Draisaitl, broken up. Pinball through Stanley. He'll turn and fire down the ice. Niederreiter's out in the box. Icing will be waved off, and Calvin Pickard controls for Edmonton. Oilers had their looks, coming in with a power play goal in 10 of their last 11 games.
Yeah, they continued to find those chances through some excellent sticks of the Winnipeg Jets. Kyle Connor broke up a play. You saw Stanley dive to make a play. And through all that, they still were able to manufacture a few great chances on net. But torrid pace on the power play to start things off. The top unit stays out for the whole 2 minutes.
Winnipeg doesn't have a shot on Pickard. Now, again, Gilles can hit the post, but we played 9 minutes and no shots on net for Winnipeg. Here's a steal by Isaac Howard, flicked off a stick by Scheifele. Wholesale substitutions for both hockey clubs. Oilers 5 shots on goal, but as Louis talked about, Stanley, that lunging block on Draisaitl probably saved a goal. Here's Jonathan Toews. Great shot to save made, Calvin Pickard. And he stoned him from about that spot about 5 minutes into the first period of the game back on December the 29th. Here's Lazar. He scored in the win over Nashville, has 3 goals on the year in part-time duty. Cole Perfetti backhands it in, well defended by Stastny. Now Emerson with a secondary layer of coverage. Frederick backhands it up to Lazar, got knocked off balance, collided with Lowry. Emerson there to play it up the gut. Lazar by this time has regained his feet, and he'll drop it back to Emerson.
Yeah, it was good to catch up with Jonathan Toews this morning. Jack, you and I just haven't had a chance to really talk to him since he's come back into the league after missing a couple years. And starting to play a little bit like his old self. It takes time to get yourself caught up in this league. It's the fastest in the world.
DeMello gives it up. Shot whistled wide by Mark Scheifele, who shares the team lead with 20. Pickard gives him a look. Scheifele protecting in the corner. Up top for Morrissey. DeMello to the net. Tipped wide. Rebound Scheifele. Tried to throw it out in front for Barron. Draisaitl dug in, pried the puck loose, but it went right to Scheifele. Centering pass, what a save! Pickard slid across to deny Niederreiter, and I think they whistled it down because for a moment it was lodged underneath Pickard's pads. Calvin Pickard, 41 saves 10 days ago. He's been good again. Logan Stanley, this is the block we were talking about. Might have saved a goal.
Well, here's some of that action on the power play for The Edmonton Oilers, just terrific work around the world, and they can create out of nothing. Good defensive play right there by Pionk to get a leg down on that one. Here's the one on the passing around, as you mentioned. Just a good stick again by Connor to break that up. We talked about Stanley, but also the save on the other end coming back after the power play. Niederreiter with an excellent chance in the slot, and Calvin Pickard, like he did on the 29th, with some excellent saves early on.
Jonathan Toews was stopped moments before that, also in the slot. So Calvin Pickard, a modest 3 saves in the first 10 minutes, but 2 of them point blankers. Off the draw, Scheifele tried to feed the middle, deflected away by McDavid, and he's off to the races with Zach Hyman. Forced out wide, Hyman threw it on net, guided to the corner by Hellebuck, shot by Nursery, directed by Hyman off the pads of Connor Hellebuck. 2-time reigning Vezina Trophy winner. Sent out by the Jets. Stastny, right-hand side. Zach Hyman. Pionk up the gut for Kyle Connor. Little give and go with Scheifele. Connor eventually on the retrieval, shadowed by Nugent Hopkins. Slashed away from Scheifele by Stastny, and now Alex Iafallo. Stastny and Scheifele engaged once more. Iafallo. Scheifele in front, quick shot, score. Kyle Connor. And the Jets take a 1-0 lead on Connor's 21st.
That was a lightning-fast release from Kyle Connor. 3rd in goals from the 2015 draft, the McDavid draft. And only behind McDavid and Rantanen in goals. And 1 of 4 that has 300. Twice this puck was put around the wall by Spencer Stastny. He won a battle down low on Scheifele, put it around the wall, and that puck was won and kept in. There's one time, the second time actually, by Iafallo. And once he puts it back down to Scheifele, it's a quick pass to the slot, and that is a lightning release. On the stick, off the stick, short side. No chance for Pickard on that one. And the Winnipeg Jets have a 1-0 lead.
Scheifele and Iafallo with the helpers. Connor has scored in 3 straight games. Edmonton breaks the other way. Isaac Howard looking for Roslovic, and getting back in the last instant to break it up was Jonathan Toews. Hit on Velarde by Emberson as Winnipeg crowds the offensive zone one more time. Emberson up to Isaac Howard, and now the Oilers will look to break that interesting trend where they've seen 20 straight games involving Edmonton decided by the team that scores first. Edmonton's last win in a game where it gave up the first goal was a home game against Columbus in the 2nd week of November. Here's Roslovic. Skating away from Velarde and sending it off to Isaac Howard. Kapanen's in early. Howard hung on to it a little later than Kapanen was anticipating. So as he tags back, Edmonton will change.
I think he wanted to try and make that pass, right? He wanted to try and put it into Kapanen with speed, delayed for just a second, but then realized it was too late.
I think this is icing on Lowry. No, they're going to wave it off in the last second. Here's Barron backhanded in front, and Pickard slides across. Might have gotten a piece of that one against Niederreiter. Here's Lowry. Centering pass for Barron, broken up by Kapanen. Draisaitl sets a screen for him, and Kapanen launches it into the Winnipeg zone. But Colson hit hard by DeMello. Lead pass on target for Morgan Barron. Out of the reach of Lowry. Ekholm skates over to make a play on it. 7 minutes to play in the first period. The Oilers got the first 5 shots on net. Winnipeg's got the last 5. Kapanen spills one on net, and that took a tricky sideways hop. That Hellebuck flipped in behind the goal line. Jilkin hit the post on his first shift, tried to center. That's taken by Matthias Janmark. The scratches tonight, a pair of veterans for the Jets, Domestikov and Nyquist. Combined, they don't have a goal in their last 60 games played. Old Koepke, who scored in that loss in Edmonton back in early December, chases Stastny behind the net. Up eventually to Janmark, and he'll jam it in deep. Hellebuck swings it to Morrison. Ahead to Scheifele. Again, grabbing the lead has not been a problem for Winnipeg. Holding on to it has been another story. Connor lost the handle at the Oiler line. Janmark rinked wide on target. Hyman knocked off his stick immediately. Scheifele with 6 minutes to go. In the first period, lost the handle, but Connor there with support. Makes a move to his left. Cuts inside, draws a penalty, a shot stopped by Pickard, but that's Kyle Connor. A brilliant individual effort to earn the Winnipeg Jets their first power play. Already leading 1-0. Winnipeg looking for more. Pickard, the denial on Niederreiter.
News has it covered 24/7.
December 4th against Seattle is when it started, but December 6th is the earliest point in a hockey game where Connor McDavid picked up a point during this 16-game point-scoring streak with 3 minutes left. The latest he's had a point with 2 seconds left against the Buffalo Sabres on December 9th. Periods 2 and 3, he's had 11 points for each of those periods. His most productive has been the first period at 17. And overall, Jack and Louis, even strength points 20, power play 18, shorthanded 1 during the streak.
Kyle Connor's really moving his feet in this one. Nice job to gain the line with possession. That little reach in right there by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins gets in against the body, the hands, and draws the call. Slashing, they're calling it. First power play for the Jets.
Taves wins the faceoff, fed by Velarde back to Morrissey. And now Scheifele, Morrissey, timed whistled through traffic by Kyle Connor. Velarde leads this team with 6 power play goals on the year. Connor, who only had 3 during the entire calendar year 2025, kind of throws one the side of the net. Pickard will put it away, and that surprises me, Louis, considering Kyle Connor annually scores 30 plus.
Unbelievable, you know, but he just creates something out of nothing a lot of the times, and we saw that lightning fast release in the first goal by the Jets. That was a real set play and a quick one right off the face-off with the shot pass right through the blue paint. Velarde has those terrific hands in front. The power play that has struggled as of late, and it's one of those power plays, though, that you feel if they start to get connected, they can do some damage.
As they did last year. They were number 1 in the league. Here's Kyle Connor dropping it off for Morrissey. Connor returns it to Morrissey. Up top for Velarde. Connor eludes Stastny, shovels it down low. Taves around the boards. Here's Scheifele, turned it over, and it's a near breakaway for McDavid. I think he got a little tap from behind.
For sure.
I thought so.
That was a breakaway.
Here's Scheifele breaking in. Kyle Connor, there was some reason why that puck popped off his stick, and I thought he got a little tap from behind. Scheifele loading up. Tried to go cross ice with it. Tipped Connor. Morrissey. Scheifele. Morrissey one-timer. It was tipped away by Darnell Nurse in front. Connor inside for Taves. And then back to Kyle Connor. No stick for Matthias Janmark. Kind of a 5-on-3.5 here. Morrissey. Scheifele. Loading. Dishing inside. Taves can't finish. Connor's got it back. Back to Taves. He'll recover. 15 seconds on the power play. Scheifele. No shot. Morrissey. One-timer Connor. Save made. Pickard. Morrissey. One-timer Connor. Block shot. Oh, and that one stung Darnell Nurse.
Oh,
and he does not typically stay on the ice for any length of time. And he's not going anywhere.
You don't even see him squirm too often. I mean, that one really stung him, though, but he lunged in front of that shot. 2 one-time opportunities from that spot. Pickard handles the first one, and Darnell Nurse just pays the price to get in front of that one. He's still trying to shake this one off on the bench. Here's the little hooker slash on the hand of McDavid. He picks this puck up, and right there, I mean, that is as close into the hand as he can. Took his butt end right out of his hand. That's a definite penalty miss. That would have been a breakaway for the hottest guy in the league right now. There's the block by Darnell Nurse. Couple good chances for the Jets in the power play. And that one hurt.
But not a goal for Winnipeg on the power play. Fed in front by Niederreiter off the pads of Pickard. Jets power play now 1 for their last 18 and 5 for their last 49. DeMello to Sandberg. Launch one in deep from center. Grabbed by Riley Stillman. And a late whistle was Winnipeg in too early. Might have been an offside there. TJ Luxmore
Having a conversation with Connor. on the bench, probably still talking about that missed call because he was gone off to the races. Darnell Nurse, good sign that he's staying on the bench, but you do have to go across the ice here at Canada Life Center to get off the ice, so it's a long journey. He's trying to shrug this one off and shake it off on the bench. Tough customer, Darnell Nurse.
That's why when he went back to the bench, I knew he was going to try to grind it out. Otherwise, he's heading straight to that corner tunnel.
I think he just shrugged off TD Force and said, you know what? It's okay.
We're going to end up
I'll stick it out.
Taking a break here. Darnell Nurse gutting it out. I don't want any part of that shot.
This is an inside the left knee, not a lot of padding there. He was squirming, got to the bench, shaked it off, and then as soon as it went to the commercial timeout, he did go for a little skate, spun it around, and he's going to remain in the game. A good sign for Edmonton. Leads all Oilers, as you can see, with 95 blocks.
1,400 for his career. That was number 1,400, and judging by his reaction, maybe the most painful one, because he does not show emotion in terms of pain. The threshold is off the charts.
There's certain guys, you know, when they start to squirm and show that, you know it was a serious one. That one stung him.
Here's Kapanen. Hard drive. Short side pass. Score! The silly putt Colson off a short side feed from Kasperi Kapanen. And this game is tied.
Well, Jack, we talked about it in the opening. Speed. The speed of this team right now seems to be elevated, and Kapanen's a big part of that. He's already been noticeable in this first period once again. It's a clean out of the zone. Podkolzin finds him with speed in the neutral zone, and then this is a beauty little pass back behind to find Podkolzin in the slot. For Podkolzin, get to the net. He drives the Pistons right in there, gets a little bit of a break this one as Iafallo's all over him, but just get it to the net. It becomes dangerous. Take it any way, shape, or form. He's off to Schneid, Podkolzin, and the game's tied. This line's been good since Kapanen's been injected on it a couple nights ago against the Nashville Predators.
First goal in 10 games for Podkolzin, and that's his 10th of the year, set up by Kapanen, who had a goal and an assist on Tuesday in his return to the lineup against Nashville. That first goal means Save On Foods is giving away their first prize. And it's Podkolzin from Kapanen at 17:02. And the Oilers have tied it up. Connor McDavid driving out wide. Tried to feather one in front. That was deflected. Kicked out Nugent Hopkins. Knocked away by Barron. A hard collision with Nugent Hopkins. Need to ride her off to Neil Pionk, and he'll whistle it in deep. Give Emberson a second assist on the scoring play, and the Oilers have tied it. Teams have split 14 shots evenly. Kyle Connor for Winnipeg, and Vasily Podkolzin is 10th of the year for the Oilers. Tanner Pearson. I mean, Kapanen doesn't look like he's missed any time, and he was out for 3 months. Tanner Pearson slams one home. Pickard lost track of him, and Pearson ducked from behind the net and regains the lead for the Jets at 2-1.
Hard wraparound here by Tanner Pearson. This is off the dump-in, hard around the wall. Pickard tries to cut it off, but it gets by. And it's Tanner Pearson that gets to this puck. A nice little stop-up, and he just kind of shoves this back against the grain. This is maybe a little unexpected from the angle that he was on. He's a little bit behind still before he throws this, but give him credit. He kind of wraps this round aggressively and just kind of jams it back towards the net. I mean, it looked like Pickard was on that post, but somehow it goes under the pad, and Winnipeg takes the lead once again, 2-1.
And for a team that's lost 10 in a row, Louis, to be able to bounce back and score a minute 14 later.
Chris Knobloch has called the official over to the bench here.
On the entry, maybe?
Maybe, I'm not sure. Or maybe he was thinking of challenging, but doesn't look like they're going to.
Well, now there's a chat with Scott Arneal.
Not sure what this is about, but something happened that he wants to go over and have a discussion with both head coaches. And for Tanner Pearson, as you mentioned, his first goal in 11. It's a big one for the fourth line and the Winnipeg Jets to gain the lead quickly after the tying goal by Podkolzin.
I wonder if there was an outage in some of the video equipment on the Oilers bench. Here's Nurse down low that they wanted to alert the officials. I'm at a loss myself, but the Oilers under control now with 90 seconds to go in the period. So Pearson from Kepke, and the Jets come in trying to snap this 10-game slide. That's a big goal for a team that had seen Edmonton tie it just moments ago. Howard unable to get a touch. That's an icing call against Edmonton and Darnell Nurse.
Carbon X, proud sustainability partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Every detail matters. Every effort counts, on and off the ice.
Jets have not won a game in 26 days. That man had the game winner the last time the Oilers were in here, Jack Roslovic. Began his career with Winnipeg, the second first-round pick of the Jets in that 2015, and here's another one that somehow funnels its way in and trickles its way by Calvin Baker. Might be Morrissey's goal. That one crawled toward the net and somehow found a home.
Yeah, there was some confusion, bodies around and a battle in front, and this one just keeps trickling forward. And again, it's a face-off win. This shot is deflected. So a good job to get in front of the Morrissey shot, but it just continues to go forward, goes off of a skate, and somehow dribbles through Calvin Pickard. Shifley was on the doorstep. He's tangled up with Spencer Stastny, but I don't believe any interference with Calvin Pickard on this play. They're going to drop the puck 3-1 on a quick response. 2 goals in a row after Podkolzin tied at 1-1. Winnipeg goes to work and now has a 3-1 lead.
It's the kind of bounce that usually doesn't go in for you when you're in one. And Dylan DeMello keeps it in the offensive zone. Lowry centers, and Barron had an open net. Could not poke that home on the deflection. Jets take a 3-1 lead with 2 goals in 40 seconds. Draisaitl will lug it out. Connor and Shifley with the assist. I mean, that wasn't even really a chance. That was just kind of funneling a puck on net, and it finds its way in. Draisaitl. Stretch play to Kapanen, didn't get a stick on it, and DeMello got back in time. Bouchard's frustrated by the icing call. But the Oilers will face a face-off in their own zone with 15 seconds remaining.
And you're right, Jack. For the Winnipeg Jets, they have not been getting bounces like that, but it is a team that has gotten out to leads and haven't really been able to hold on to them. They had a 2-0 and 3-2 lead on Tuesday versus the Winnipeg Jets. Eventually lost that one in overtime. But
Vegas.
They're working. So that's, what did I say?
The Jets.
Sorry, did I say Jets? Vegas. You meant what I know. Thank you, partner.
Morrissey a drive. See Pickard. Rebound off the side of the net. Jonathan Toews just can't buy one. Lead pass, put Colson to Draisaitl, hung up with Velarde. And the first period will come to a close in a strange one.
Extra here.
Draisaitl, I think, a little chop, and the Jets took exception to it. I think he chopped Velarde.
He came back hard on him. A little scrum here in the middle of the ice. So a little frustration here at the end of the first period after 2 goals against in 40 seconds by Leon Draisaitl. But, you know, in that game against Vegas, they lost in overtime, but you kind of got the feeling in Winnipeg here that losing 10 in a row, there's some games that maybe they should have deserved a better fate. Well, and that always happens at the end of a losing streak. You start to maybe not finish off games you should. And that's what I think happened Tuesday night. They have a 3-1 lead here. There's the whack on Velarde. He didn't like it, cross-check. And then everybody comes in aggressively, and the dog pile ensues. But don't mind this between these two teams.
Chris Knobloch striding off his club, tying the game on Vasily Podkolzin's 10th of the year, but the Jets roar back with 2 in 40 seconds. Straight ahead, Hockey Central update with Carolyn Cameron and former Columbus head coach Brad Larson. Oilers down 2 after 1.
Oilers broadcast.
101 NHL games, including tonight for Luke Shen, who remembers as a kid, his dad Jeff did a wonderful job with the backyard rink. In fact, along the street, he said 7 or 8 different kids ended up making it at least to the Western Hockey League. Now, these are his kids, as Luke Shen has a beautiful backyard rink here in Winnipeg, and he said it was a minus 37 wind chill, but the kids were still out there playing. And those kids being 8-year-old Kingston and 5-year-old Weston, who to this point in their young lives had mostly grown up in warm weather cities. I asked Luke this morning, Louis and Jack, how's the ice? He said, sensation.
Of course he did. All right, Dylan DeVille off the left-hand side. What a great guy. Alex Iafallo in from the right side. He and Braden, 1,000 games in the same season. Iafallo brushed off his stick by Matthias Ekholm as Edmonton tries to shrug off those 2 late goals in 40 seconds that took a 1-1 tie into a 3-1 Jets lead as we start the second period. Kapanen and Podkolzin forechecking. Draisaitl hovering on Dylan Samberg. Now he's going to change in the first minute of this second period. Rifled in by DeMello. Meanwhile, the Jets, we mentioned the blown leads against Vegas. There was a game, Louis, you and I were watching when they coughed up a 4-1 lead to Toronto, lost 6-5. So Winnipeg's going to have to get through this hurdle. When you talk to the players this morning, they're saying it's much mental as anything right now.
It is, and I agree, and you could feel it in the room. You know, they weren't afraid to talk about it, which is a good sign. But
kicked out into the slot, one-timer, pinballed Savoy off his own man Howard on a deflection in front. Then Roslovic to Emberson. Savoy again, Howard inside, and what a save on Roslovic. Definitely some chemistry on that line. Here's Stillman across. Emberson circling back to Roslovic. And that misfired to Savoy, but you feel like this line is on the verge of a breakthrough.
Absolutely, they were the other night too. They created some great chances, and that was a nice tic-tac-toe passing play and a quick release by Roslovic in the slot. The ex-Winnipeg Jet and Hellebuck with a beautiful right pad save.
Hellebuck 15-14-3 lifetime against the Oilers, but 4-0 when it mattered in that playoff series in 2021. Played to a save percentage of 95. Nugent Hopkins back to Nurse. Struggled in recent postseasons, however. McDavid coughed it up at the line. Niederreiter backhanded in. They're not going to give him center ice. Niederreiter, a bit of a mistake there by the 15-year pro. That's icing against the Jets.
Couple good saves by Hellebuck, and this line, as you mentioned, Jack, starting to find that chemistry, and it's been fairly instantaneous with them. And this one pops out to Savoy. Good block. Sorry, that wasn't Hellebuck. I believe that was Velarde that got a piece of that one. This is the passing play that sets up Roslovic. I mean, right from between the hash mark. He's had the hot hand this year. When he gets shot, he beat Hellebuck on the 29th for the game-winning goal in that 3-1 win for Edmonton. Hellebuck stoned him on that one. Wow.
That's a good read by Hellebuck, who makes the stop from distance against Bouchard. Rebound Niederreiter. He'll chip it off the boards. Hard hit on Hyman by Lowry. Ekholm returns to Hyman. Jabbed off his stick by Logan Stanley. Picked up by Morgan Barron. He'll send it out to center. Matthias Ekholm. The left-hand side. Hyman squeezed off the puck by Shen. Now you've got Lowry in control for the Jets, and Shen wastes no time and launching one down the middle. He said if he's on the... Oh, here's a stick exploding on Nurse. Reshot Kepke, and he blistered one wide. One of Kepke's 2 goals came against Edmonton earlier this year, and he just missed the net that time. Here's Hellebuck. To Pionk, and now you've got Jilkin to Tanner Pearson. Andy Jilkin, checked by Stastny. Kepke around the boards. Morrissey unable to maintain the offensive zone. 3.5 gone by in period 2. Jets up 3-1. But Colson the only goal for Edmonton. Nurse up the middle. Curtis Lazar will back his way in. Trent Frederick on the puck. Oilers trying to get to 500 on the road. They come in a game under at 10-11-3 this season. spending a ton of time, including an 8-game homestand at Rogers Place in the month of January. Neil Pionk on the mark, Scheifele. Kyle Connor, Scheifele knocks one down. Taken away by Kasperi Kapanen. Olsen fires it in from center. Meanwhile, Winnipeg on the front end of a back-to-back. Edmonton's next opponent is in the building tonight. The LA Kings, General Manager Ken Holland on hand for tonight's game. Oilers will see the Kings on Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday. Louie and I will have it for you with Scott Oak, and Louie's going to chat with Drew Doughty on After Hours after.
Looking forward to that one.
Speak on.
Always a good conversation.
Notification. Messenger. Now, Desiree Loretta N. Come down bees.
Did that tick the bar on its way out? No, Hellebuck got a piece. He keeps it 3-1.
iPhone, today at 6 p.m., Oilers broadcast, Edmonton at Winnipeg, available outside Jets region.
Evaporating in the hands of Darnell Nurse, just trying to do the quick up, and Koepke has a pretty good chance to take this shot. Just misses the net, tried to get it away quickly. Here's the post you were talking about. Bouchard walks in off the blocker. Actually, does go up over top. Good blocker save by Hellebuck, who's definitely feeling it in this one.
Bouchard heard the same sound I did. He wanted to see what that replay looked like. Hellebuck's been good in this second period. Oilers have had a couple good looks. 3-1 though, Winnipeg. Stanley trying to clear. Spencer Stastny. Behind the net, Luke Shen. Looking for Stanley, and now Cole Perfetti off to Jonathan Toews. Velarde. Put it behind the net. Grabbed by Matt Savoy. Jack Roslovic hustles it in. Perfetti on him. Roslovic elected to get it in deep. Shen attempted to clear, held in by Nurse. Howard and Savoy in close quarters. Toews will break away from traffic. Shen with a hit to kind of bust up that cycle. Stastny will track it down for Edmonton. Howard a strike right onto the tape of Savoy. Inside to McDavid. Neil Pionk on him. Hyman sets a little pick for McDavid. Bouchard gives it up. Ekholm centered, and that was tapped just wide by Hyman.
That was a good feed.
Nugent Hopkins across. Ekholm. Bouchard. One touch. Nugent Hopkins wired one. Rebound. McDavid had it blocked by Barron, and that might have saved a goal. I'm not sure Hellebuck would have recovered in time.
I agree. That's two. Draisaitl in the first, McDavid here in the second. Couple key shot blocks. Stanley in the first on Draisaitl, and right there, as you mentioned, McDavid got that away in a hurry.
Morgan Barron in the line. 6.5 gone by. In the second, Bouchard hits the line, shoots, and that was sticked away by Pionk. Rebound, Cole Koepke. Fell down. McDavid got through Pionk. Beats it inside, shot by Nugent Hopkins, stopped by Hellebuck. Another tough save in close quarters. Nugent Hopkins kept it in. McDavid to his backhand, trying to center and take it away by Morrissey. Excellent defensive work from Josh Morrissey. Heading to the Olympics. And now inadvertently pumped out a play by Koepke. We've played 7 minutes here in the second period. And Hellebuck with a handful of quality stops.
He's had to be good. Edmonton's really come out like they did in the first period. They had the first 5 shots and ended up with 2 in the first. There's the block shot first, and the second one getting in front of the lane and denying a goal on McDavid.
Be comfortable thinking outside and inside the box.
Here we go, some rough stuff. Go to the box, please. Now.
You'll have time to think about that.
The car into the box. They score. It's that play.
It's a lot to take in. Their prized possessions have taken over.
This is worth over $100,000.
What will they sell to reclaim their space?
Do you smell that?
Barbies?
Money.
Jump or jackpot on HGTV.
Kyle and Elliot?
They can't play hockey.
Gee, thanks, Nas.
But they know hockey, inside out.
There you go. Nailed it, Morgan.
32 Thoughts, your weekly NHL deep dive. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Wednesdays emergencies.
21 David, emergency!
Head to the Windy City.
We were safe here.
For 3 all-new back-to-back episodes.
We're going in.
No rest for the weary.
Chicago Fire.
I'm gonna get you out of here, right? We gotta stay alone.
Med.
We're gonna get you feeling better.
And PD.
Your men hold down the perimeter. We got this.
We're the glue holding this thing together.
Damn right we are.
All new Chicago Wednesday on City TV or streaming on City TV Plus.
The best teams in the world are here looking to be crowned Players Champion.
Crown Royal Players Championship, January 8th to 11th on Sportsnet.
Jack alluded to it. It is a big Pacific Division matchup, which closes out Hockey Night in Canada this week. Kings and Oilers face off, both teams battling for position in one of the NHL's tightest divisions, Saturday, 8 on Sportsnet and CBC. And this is the LA Kings, who were actually, Louis and Jack, you probably noticed it as well, Trent Frederick and company checking out of the hotel. The LA Kings were checking in. You said former Oiler GM is upstairs, and he will be back at Edmonton on Saturday.
Connor Hellebuck with a handoff. Oilers crowd the offensive zone, trying to work themselves back into this one, trailing 3-1. 2 goals in 40 seconds late in the first period. The margin right now. Janmark centering pass. Lazara had his stick tied up, and here comes Cole Koepke. Stanley a shot. And Pickard able to locate it through a screen sent in front by Pearson.
That was a pretty good shot, too, by Stanley. Good pickup on the fly as the late trailer, and then just a good flex on the stick. The big man who is back after missing that one-game suspension for the sucker punch on Brady Tkachuk. But watch him pick this one up, and there's a good screen right there in front by Tanner Pearson in a battle with Stillman. Be able to make that save.
Scheifele and Draisaitl. And a collision with a linesman. Travis Toomey by Podkolzin allows DeMello to launch. That stayed out. Now Scheifele. Kapanen leaves it for Leon Draisaitl. McDavid with 39 points in his last 16 games. Otherwise, we'd be talking about Draisaitl being hot with 29 points in his last 16. Can't find a puck at the blue line. He was lingering before wanting to change there.
That funny hop off the wall almost still went to Draisaitl. He just missed that puck on the offensive blue line.
It's amazing how the puck finds those guys, huh?
It's like a magnet.
Here's
I
McDavid.
didn't have that problem.
Building speed, lost the handle, and here come the Jets on the counter. Scheifele with Kyle Connor. Across to Pionk, went off his skate, and now Nurse with a stretch, and another big bounce. Boy, that looked like it landed in a cavern in the middle of the ice. Here's Morrissey. That was a strange hop.
Funny hop.
Bouchard to Ekholm. Nugent Hopkins rink wide to Bouchard again, stolen by Lowry. Approaching the halfway point of this hockey game. Nugent Hopkins ducks to his right, gets it back from Bouchard, through Barron. Drops for McDavid. Shot! And that stayed out. Climbed up on the plexi and hacked away from Bouchard by Barron. Ekholm up the gut. Off of McDavid's skate. Neil Pionk off to Niederreiter. Whipped around the boards, Dylan DeMello. Jonathan Taves a shot. Save made by Calvin Pickard, who then took a pop from Ekholm, who was driven into him. Pickard appears none the worse for wear, but the Oilers don't like that.
No, this is a big line, too, this third line. As Lowry's gone off here for his 2 wingers. And Jonathan Taves had jumped on the ice, but Morgan Barron having a strong game here. He's been around it. Right in front of the net gives Ekholm a pretty good cross-check, and he puts him into his own goaltender. Good save by Pickard right here. This little shot here catches him up in the face, and as he falls down, he falls into Pickard, just off balance a little bit. And that's what brought everybody in. Here's Leon Draisaitl. Blows a wheel a couple of times on this shift. This one here as he tries to turn quickly, then a little toe pick on the line. He tried to change directions as that puck, so you know what? Get rid of those blades. Get him out of here is Jeff Lang. A quick little pit stop, some new steel.
Perfetti down low. Sent around the boards by Luke Shen. Inside Taves. Put one up high on Calvin Pickard, and that came off the glass. Shen did well to hold the zone. Oilers with pressure up top, and it's Riley Stillman up the left-hand side. Riley's dad, Corey, one of 12 guys to win the cup in back-to-back years on different squads. Drive by Shen, redirected, and that didn't miss by much. There have been some seeing-eye pucks out there tonight in Winnipeg.
Yeah, a little deflection and a bobble through.
Savoy a lob back through the neutral zone. 10 minutes to play. Winnipeg just 2 shots in this second period, but the Oilers only have 4. Hellebuck's made 3 terrific saves in this period. Jilkin to Cole Koepke. Up the right-hand side. Nurse stretch looking for Kapanen. And Jilkin bumps it off the boards back inside. The Oiler line reset for Nurse. Is bogged down a little bit in the second period in terms of its rhythm. But Colson to Kapanen through the wickets of Draisaitl. Here's Iafallo on the counter. Kyle Connor. As Louis has talked about, he's been flying all night. And Spencer Stastny played him well that time.
That was a great play of the one-on-one, as you mentioned, by Stastny. That skating ability just didn't really get sucked into looking at that puck with Kyle Connor. He's got quick hands and just took the body.
Stastny, one too many give and goes that time for Kasperi Kapanen, but Connor had it swatted off his stick by Kapanen. And Draisaitl brings it in against 2 Jets, broken up by Iafallo.
Urgency's been there for the Jets in this game tonight, and especially the top line. Kyle Connor really moving his feet. Shifley been on for 2 of the 3 goals.
But Colson is shot, and that was tipped. Well, they're running out of real estate. I know there's half a season to go, but they're 11 points out.
Yeah.
And as Morrissey told us this morning, at some point you've got to put a streak together. We can't just say, well, it'll be there eventually. Here's Bouchard to Hyman. And Luke Shen followed that up with, forget the streak. Let's just get one.
Get off the schneid, right? Been some close games in this 10-game losing streak, too, for the Winnipeg Jets, and that makes it even a little harder to swallow. 4 of them they've gotten a point in, but 0-6-4 in the last 10. You know they were hungry to come into this game.
They've tied an NHL record with 12 straight defeats in 1-goal games. That's an NHL record.
That's the tight hockey, right? So, I mean, Davis Payne, our old friend, we had a good conversation this morning. He said, listen, you just have to keep doing the things because you know that's what's going to make you successful. When you're not getting the result, it's a difficult message to get through sometimes, but they come out to play in this one tonight.
McDavid sets up Emberson. His shot, and that's a block to deal Pionk 8. And he's trying to skate that one off as it comes back into the Edmonton zone. Stillman leaves it for Emberson. Corey Stillman winning those cups, 2004 in Tampa, 2006 in Carolina. On the move is Perfetti. Frederick plays him well. One-timer stealing off the crossbar, and Stillman swept it out of the blue paint. Taves to Stanley. Looking inside. Trying to center. Couple of whacks at it. Perfetti can't finish. Inside to Velarde. Jets looking for separation. As we've talked about, they've had trouble in close games. That one stayed out. Taves. Stanley, another shot. Didn't make its way on net this time. What a play by Stillman to get it out of the blue paint. Here's Luke Shen across. Stanley, that one came outside. And an offside whistled against Winnipeg. 3-1 Jets. Well, Winnipeg got a massive break in the first period. But here, Logan Stanley misses by an eyelash.
iPhone, go.
Exams, including OCT.
Well, the Jets have done some good things in this game to be up 3-1, and a lot of it is their second efforts. That's Morgan Barron just staying in the hunt for that puck, sets up a great chance for Niederreiter. Excellent save by Pickard. This is the goal shift. Couple of times this puck, full possession by Edmonton up the wall. There's one time, good play here. by Stastny to get it up the wall again, but it's the Jets that get there first. That leads to the 1-0 goal by Kyle Connor on the zipper from the slot. And for Edmonton, need to be a little better in their own zone of winning those puck battles on the wall. You saw them just get hemmed in on that 97.1 mile an hour blast by Stanley. They went to work down low. Need to be better in their zone.
Pearson chips and charges. Jilkin. Shen across to Stanley. Cole Koepke rifles one on net. A save made by Pickard. I'll tell you what, this fourth line has been effective for Winnipeg tonight. They've been more noticeable than Adam Lowry's line, which is saying something, because usually head-to-head against Edmonton, that's the key.
Yeah, Gustav Nyquist and Vladislav Nemestikov out of the lineup as healthy scratches.
Turned over. Roslovic dishes off. Hyman on his backhand can't get a shot away. Bouchard, and that hit his own man Roslovic in front. Ekholm to Hyman, hard to the net. Poke checked away by Hellebuck. That's a play that Louis likes. Up the boards, not out. Hyman in front, and Roslovic booted on net, and short side a save on Howard. Oilers all of a sudden flurrying. Koepke put her up the boards, not out, and eventually muscled it back through center. Koepke badly needed a change, and he'll get it. Draisaitl out there with McDavid and Hyman, 5-on-5, first time tonight. Ekholm steps up. Stanley's been out there 2.5. McDavid gets worked over in the corner. Scheifele chipped at, jabbed at. Draisaitl briefly held it on. And now I follow ahead for Scheifele. Tried to center and Bouchard stuffed that.
Good battle, one on the line to get that puck out of the zone and get two fresh defensemen on the ice for the Jets.
Bouchard gives it to McDavid. Button hooks, and then when he tried to set up Nurse, it deflected off Connor and sailed down the ice. Oilers must reload. Darnell Nurse as we hit 4 minutes to play in period 2. Stripped from Draisaitl by Lauer. Got around David centering pass, and Stastny had the stick of Barron tied up. Here comes Kasperi Kapanen. Dealing down low for McDavid. Nurse shoots it off the end boards. Eluded Kapanen, but no. Oh, it did crawl outside on Stastny. And offside whistled against Edmonton. That might have been a break for the Oilers. Could have been 2-on-1 for the Jets coming the other way. Connor McDavid and the Oilers still down 2.
Wednesdays.
Tonight's major part of the game brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Parts that make the difference. That's Napa know-how.
Well, Connor McDavid's just been on a tear. 16-game point streak with 39 points in that streak, and he comes into this game. And the Winnipeg Jets know it. You hear about it. You know when someone's playing as well as McDavid's playing. They just saw him not too long ago. And they're like, okay, we've got to be on our game. They've been all around. There's the block by Pionk that was probably a goal in the slot. He's had his chances. He's been buzzing. But they've been buckling down, playing him hard. There's a pretty good pop right there by DeMello to make sure that he's getting knocked off the puck. And that 16-game point streak on the line, down by 2 in the second period.
Barron's been in this drill a few times tonight as well.
Yep. Physical guy.
Jets bang it in deep. Connor, Scheifele, and Iafallo going to work. Drive to Mello, and that rocket ended up high. Morrissey raced over to hold the zone. Kapanen tried to give it up for Stastny, and Connor wouldn't let it happen. But eventually it's twisted ahead for Nugent Hopkins. Overrunning the play is Kapanen. Scheifele cutting away from traffic. Nugent Hopkins has slid between Kapanen and Podkolzin with the move to McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hyman, which comes awfully early. Usually you wouldn't see that until the third period, but the Oilers only have 13 shots on net.
Need more. I agree. They're not spending enough time in the zone. And credit Winnipeg for that. They're doing a great job of snuffing out the cycle, getting to first to pucks. We talked about the wall battles. They seem to be coming up with those loose pucks. A little bit of an elevation for Edmonton here in the intensity. Just digging a little bit more to try and win more of those pucks that are up for grabs.
The Jets season is up for grabs. The next month, before the Olympic break, they'll know. Shot by Janmark, and that's held by Hellebuck. He'll put away his 13th stop tonight, and more pushing and shoving. Shen will wrap up, and now we're going to have a fight.
Yep.
Logan Stanley hammering away on Frederick. Landed a quick uppercut as Frederick ties him up. keeps that head up to protect himself from another uppercut.
They had a long conversation in the scrum. And
hard right hook
good right hand by
Frederick. Stanley ate that right hand, missed with an overhand right. Frederick went down, but Frederick landed the cleanest punch in that altercation.
I gotta tell you, Stanley could have given him a couple down on the ice, and he didn't. I know he just got suspended for one, but they had a little gathering, a couple good right hands by Frederick, trying to get something going. I think he came into the pile, a little bump, and there's been a lot of talk about Frederick here. Healthy scratch last game, wants to come in, wants to try and make a name, and gets into that scrum with a big man in Logan Stanley. Give him credit for stepping in there, gets a couple shots in, but I also credit Stanley for not giving shots down the ice.
No matter McDavid's ambition, CIBC would have a personalized plan, just like we'll have a plan for you too. CIBC, proud partner of Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers.
Well, here's how it starts, and it was a good backtrack by Lazar to turn the puck over. I just said they've got to come up with more loose pucks than they do to create that chance, the fourth line, and then a little pushing, shoving in front of the net. Now, is there a high stick or something?
Well, they're going to call it 5-on-5.
5-on-5. I don't know what the official was signaling there, but a little bit of interaction in front between Stanley and Frederick, and delays dropping the gloves, but they go at it.
Bouchard's wrist shot wide. Draisaitl, McDavid, and Hyman put together 5-on-5. McDavid to the net. Couple of short side jams. And saves made by Connor Hellebuyck, who hasn't seen a ton of vulcanized rubber in this second period, but when he's been called upon, he's had some good reads.
We talk, in plyometrics, when people talk about plyometrics, about coming down, stopping aggressively, getting that bounce off the ground and using it to your advantage. Connor McDavid's able to do that on the ice, it seems. When he slams on the brakes, he almost springboards back off that stop, and he's so good at just swimming around players and accelerating through, creates that chance out of nothing. Good save, Hellebuyck.
And a reigning Vezina Trophy winner has not lost 9 in a row since Terry Sawchuk back in 1956. Here's McDavid dropping it off for Draisaitl. Breaking free is Bouchard. No shot. To Draisaitl through a screen and a save made by Hellebuyck. Draisaitl to McDavid. Bouchard loading up. No shot. McDavid. Draisaitl. Shot, save, Hellebuyck, and he'll squeeze with 1:36 to go in the second. The Oilers starting to push with Draisaitl, McDavid reunited.
Extra efforts, too. This is a real sound shift and a hard effort. I mean, Lowry's a big guy. Here's a hit on Barron by Draisaitl. They're going to go at it. Once this puck comes in the zone, though, it's just clutch and grab and push and shove and watch Lowry come in. He's a big man, and for McDavid, he goes down, but he stays in the hunt for this puck. Second efforts. A little bit of an elevation in the intensity sets up this play again. Nice movement on the line by Bouchard to handle that ground with a little zipper. Through a little bit of a screen handled by Hellebuyck, but a solid, hard workman-like shift.
The wrist shot off the draw taken by Isaac Howard, and Hellebuyck puts that one away as well.
And sometimes that's what you need. You know what? Listen, the skill does a lot. There's no question for Connor McDavid. He's been on a tear. Leon Draisaitl as well, putting up points. But when you dig in like that, good things happen and start to turn things around. This is a couple of shifts now Jack spent in the offensive zone.
Last 6 shots on net belong to Edmonton. Here's Roslovic from behind the goal. Tried to feed it in front, broken up, and here comes Tanner Pearson for Winnipeg. Stastny defending. Taves in on the forecheck against Nurse. Gabe Velarde. Grabbed by Savoy. Picked off by Pearson. Dishes off. Velarde made a move and couldn't tuck it around. Calvin Pickard.
If you build it, they will come. Coventry Homes, never done building. The official builder of the Edmonton Oilers.
Some nifty stick handling on this play by Velarde, and just the patience and the skill to be able to walk around. Good little pass. You talked about the fourth line before. They've had a strong outing. For Velarde, just outweights Pickard as he slides across and tries to bring it back around the pad. He just can't get the tip of the stick. Good job by Savoy to get in there and tuck it on the pad, and Pickard shaking out the leg. Maybe he was trying to get that puck up to his glove. No worse for wear. He's going to stay in the game.
Velarde just 1 goal in his last 10.
Activate. Edit controls.
Jets have dropped 10 straight. The only other reigning president.
Listen, cellular 7 cable connect. Oiler 19 full spec. Audio set button. Skip. We're sorry. Assistive touch. Custom device. Notification center. Notification set 7:46 p.m. Thursday 7 assistive touch home. Assistive touch assist home. More. App switcher. Apps soon iTunes Suno Sportsnet active app YouTube Messenger YouTube assistive touch assist home Morek V2 Sportsnet Sports tab watch sports schedule button schedule all leagues live NHL Oilers broadcast back restart watch live button Oilers broadcast Edmonton at Winnipeg available accept control edit control page 1 of airplane mode page 1 of 4 go play but go backward go backward 15 go back speech off speech on go back speech off speech on go back
watch this fights through the check
go back
but a solid hard
out off the draw taken by Isaac Howard, and Hellebuck puts that one away as well.
And sometimes that's what you need. You know what? Listen, the skill does a lot. There's no question for Connor McDavid. He's been on a tear. Leon Draisaitl as well, putting up points. But when you dig in like that, good things happen and start to turn things around. This is a couple of shifts now, Jack, spent in the offensive zone.
Last 6 shots on net belong to Edmonton. Here's Roslovic from behind the goal. Tried to feed it in front, broken up, and here comes Tanner Pearson for Winnipeg. Stastny defending. Taves in on the forecheck against Nurse. Gabe Velarde. Grabbed by Savoy. Picked off by Pearson. Dishes off Velarde. Made a move and couldn't tuck it around. Calvin Pickard.
If you build it, they will come. Coventry Homes, never done building. The official builder of the Edmonton Oilers.
Some nifty stick handling on this play by Velarde, and just the patience and the skill to be able to walk around. Good little pass. You talked about the fourth line before. They've had a strong outing. For Velarde, just outweights Pickard as he slides across and tries to bring it back around the pad. He just can't get the tip of the stick. Good job by Savoy to get in there and tuck it on the pad, and Pickard shaking out the leg. Maybe he was trying to get that puck up to his glove. No worse for wear. He's going to stay in the game.
Velarde, just 1 goal in his last 10. As the Jets have dropped 10 straight. The only other reigning President's Trophy winner to lose 10 in a row in the history of the league.
Go forward. Speak off.
Keeps going.
And the Oilers have cut it to 3-2 after 2. Difficulty on that is much greater than what McDavid
to stick
from Draisaitl. Game at 3-2. McDavid scores. And Edmonton right back in this hockey game at 3-2. McDavid ties his career high with points in 17 straight from Draisaitl.
I mean, this is just a wicked display of skill right here, and stay with it. I mean, they had to muster it through a couple of sticks. This one here, knocked down by Connor, staying with it. Nugent Hopkins gets it up the ice to Bouchard, and then Draisaitl's pass deflected just a little bit, but the pick up by McDavid. Watch this, fights through the check, keeps going forward, knows that there's only about 25 seconds left in the period. Skate to stick, forehand upstairs. I mean, to do it that tight, continues his streak and makes it a 1-goal game. Elevation here, Jack, in this second period at the end has resulted in that goal. It's made it a 1-goal game.
And the degree of difficulty on that is much greater than what McDavid shows.
I mean, just stick handling the phone booth in tight and a finish to boot. And Hellebuck got a big piece of it, but it still found its way home. So a 1-goal game now heading into the third. Much different than down by 2.
And 7 straight shots on net to close the period for Edmonton. A lot of momentum. McDavid with his 29th, second only to Nate McKinnon's 35 in the NHL. Draisaitl the assist. And the Oilers have cut it to 3-2 after 2. 20 long minutes separating Winnipeg from a much-needed win. Frederick and Stanley trade punches. The teams trading blows as well. McDavid cutting it to 3-2. Carolyn and Brad next with a Hockey Central update. Oilers have pulled to within 3-2, and they're going back to Draisaitl between Kapanen and Podkolzin to start the third period. Last 7 or 8 minutes of the second period, we saw Draisaitl go up with McDavid and Hyman, and immediately the game started to turn around. Jets trying to close this game out. They're up 3-2, having surrendered a goal in the last minute of the second period for the third time in 4 games. And in all 3 of those cases, Louis, they saw a 2-goal lead dwindle to 1 and then eventually lose the game. We'll see if history repeats itself as Draisaitl streaks in from Kapanen. Hits nurse the trailer and shot kicked away by Connor Hellebuck, who's looking for a clean sheet in this third period to finally give the Jets their first win since December the 13th. 26 days, a long time to wait. In between wins, Roslovic gaining the line. Riley Stillman for the Oilers. Jack Lunders, Louis DeBrusk, Gene Principe with you from Canada Life Center. Oilers won the first 2 of the 3 meetings this year between the Oilers and Jets. They're looking for a season sweep. Emerson soccered it up to Roslovic. He'll gain the line around Perfetti. Isaac Howard seemingly on the threshold. Shot Bouchard, save Hellebuck, rebound Perfetti. Rolled it over to Luke Shen. Jets, meanwhile, only managed 3 shots in that second period. They try to nurse this one home, they're going to be in trouble.
Edmonton's come out pushing here. That was a solid save by Hellebuck through a screen of Roslovic, his old teammate.
McDavid gaining the line. Reunited with Nugent Hopkins and Hyman, at least to start the third. Shoveled in by Neil Pionk. Here's Bouchard. Nugent Hopkins gliding through neutral, shoveling it in deep. Rolling puck.
Page 2 of 4, no playing, adjustable. Swipe up or down with one finger to adjust the value.
Against Ekholm and backhanded it off the boards. Bouchard from Ekholm. 2 and change gone by in the third. Bouchard gained the line and zipped one just wide on the glove side. Rebound picked up by Pionk. Adam Lowry fished it off the half wall to Niederreiter. That's a good play by the Winnipeg captain. Nurse with a giveaway. Barron moves in. Cuts to the net. Couldn't get his backhander off. McDavid got there in time. That's an impressive check by McDavid off the backhand side. Tanner Pearson. Stripped away by Curtis Lazar. Time and time again, the Jets have seen leads slip away during this 10-game losing streak. 4 straight losses at home, 4 straight losses when scoring the first goal. Jets built a 3-1 lead after one with 2 goals in 40 seconds late in the first period. But the McDavid goal late in the second, his 29th of the year, has pulled Edmonton to within 3-2. Nurse from Stastny, Roslovic. Pionk there for the Jets. Leaves it for Sandberg. Dylan Sandberg, end-to-end. Kyle Connor served it up. Draisaitl cut it off, made a play toward the middle. Calling for it back was Podkolzin off to Draisaitl. Breaks his way through Kyle Connor. Hit hard by Sandberg and dropped. Centering pass broken up by Mark Scheifele. Calvin Pickard made that big save on Velarde right before McDavid scored. So instead of 4-1 Jets, it's now 3-2. Morrissey dumping it in. Scheifele protecting the puck against Emerson, but when he tried to find Morrissey at the point, it didn't connect. Morrissey, of course, played junior with Leon Draisaitl and Prince Albert and Kelowna. Said stardom was never in doubt.
He was reminiscing a little bit of those junior days with Draisaitl, but he said, we came over from Germany. We knew right away he was something special.
McDavid lugs it through the middle. Nugent Hopkins a little behind Zach Hyman. That play's timing just a little bit off. Taves juggled, didn't maintain. Ekholm to Bouchard. Now Connor McDavid. Matthias Ekholm fires on net. The stick save made by Connor Hellebuck. I mean, the Jets have had 3 shots on net in 25 minutes. Am I overstating the point, Louis? I just don't see them finding a way to just nurse
I think
this
in the
home.
first half of the second period, it was pretty tight. They were totally content with that because Edmonton wasn't pushing. In the latter part of the second, though, Edmonton started to push.
Alberta wins with Play Alberta. Download the app to start playing today.
Trent Frederick out of the penalty box on that little stoppage there. A lot of taps on the bench for that big scrap with Stanley. Got things going for the team. There's the save that I was talking about with Hellebuck through Roslovic. A good job to battle in front. And then McDavid at the last second with a good defensive play. Down the stick enough that not taking the penalty against Barron, who was right in front alone. But, I think the play in the last 5 to 7 minutes for Edmonton, though, they had probably about 5 shots on net in that span. They just didn't look back. Got the goal that made it 3-2 by McDavid, and they've carried it over into this third.
Draisaitl to Stastny. His shot was deflected by Perfetti and into the waiting arms of Connor Hellebuck.
Winnipeg's gotten a lot of sticks on pucks in the defensive zone of Edmonton. This is a prime example. Good face-off battle. It's a winger win along the wall by Podkolzin, and then Draisaitl finds Stastny looking for that shot of Perfetti. Just gets that stick in the lane. It's amazing how much that slowed that puck down en route to Hellebuck, who handles it.
10 shots on net for Edmonton since Winnipeg's last shot on goal. Draisaitl wins a face-off. Here's Kapanen trying to back his way in. Now Draisaitl against Morrissey. Served it up for Nurse, and now Stastny a shot. Wide of Hellebuck, rebound in front, and Podkolzin denied by Connor Hellebuck with an alert glove save.
Yeah, again, off a face-off. Come up with possession, moving around the zone. And for Stastny,
Messenger, now, Ross Pessin.
To get this puck to the net. This time he gets it away a little quicker. Right here. Quick little wrister down low. Karem's hard off the back wall. And Podkolzin in the battle with DeMello has a fairly decent chop at that puck short side.
If you need an illustration where the Jets are this year as compared to last year, they'd need to go 41-0 the rest of the way to match last season's record. 41-0. Stastny. Angled off the boards, Adam Lowry. Snapped it in deep. Spencer Stastny to Darnell Nurse. Jets will play LA tomorrow night. Edmonton against the Kings on Saturday for the first time this year. Draisaitl able to go through some traffic. Slithers one off to Kapanen, but a miscommunication. Stastny was not stationed at the point. The puck exits the zone. Back to Kapanen. As Edmonton rolls it over. Still lots of time remaining. And Lou, you've been there. When you've lost, you're on a losing streak. Getting to the finish line can be tough. Here's Roslovic. Cutting inside. Snap shot. Howard, and again he's stopped. This time the blocker of Hellebuck's. Another shot taken by Stillman. Deflected wide. Cole Kepke. Stillman another drive. That ends up in the corner. Pearson plucks it off the half wall. And Kepke will reel it in the corner.
That was a really good save on Howard. He had time to pick his spot.
But if you're trying to snap a streak, correct me if I'm wrong, it feels like a 90-minute game, doesn't it?
Well, especially one like this where you're in close games like Winnipeg has been. It's just, you can feel it coming, but it's like, are we ever going to see the light at the end of the tunnel? And you're right. I'm just saying, I've been in that spot a few times.
Well, you're reminiscing with Scott Mellenby. And the two of you shared a few dark moments. Here's Ekholm against Scheifele around the boards.
Conference final first year with
Yes,
Scott was an Oilers, so that was a pretty solid year. But yeah, that was the beginning of the real dark years in Edmonton.
David swooping at center. You always like to remind me that when you lost 50 games, it was an 84-game schedule.
Yeah, there you go.
I follow. Trapped by Hyman. Swung it over to Logan Stanley, and now Mark Scheifele. Jabbed it behind Bouchard. Eckler there to cut him off. Scheifele lost his stick. Comes free, and now Sandberg fell down. And here come the Oilers. McDavid and Hyman. McDavid and Hyman had that puck take a hop on him. DeMello tracked it down. Nurse, a turnover to Hyman, a shot, score! This game is tied. Hyman beats Hellebuyck short side. It's 3-all.
Boy, you could just feel this coming, couldn't you? There's a Hyman fan in the stands pretty pumped on this shot. This is jarred. I mean, bar in by Hyman. Great work again, and Edmonton's just been pushing, but this pass right here not handled by Taves, and it's a quick pass. Right onto the tape of Zach Hyman. Darnell Nurse finds him. It's that quick pass by Nurse that allows Hyman to have a little bit of space to get inside on Connor. And once he tucks this shoulder, does he ever go upstairs here? Hellebuyck, as soon as he touches the ground, this shot is released upstairs, back bar and out, tie game.
And this is what we were talking about. You can't just sit on a one-goal lead against the Edmonton Oilers. It just isn't going to work. The Jets haven't had a shot on net since the midway point of the second period. Nurse threw it around the boards. Morrissey. Taves to Perfetti. Morrissey jumps up. Stastny checked him off the puck. Morrissey got it back and was taken down. Couldn't get a clean shot away. Draisaitl dropped it back to Stastny. The Jets once again have seen a 2-goal lead slip away.
And it starts to creep into your mind, no question. When it's happening on a regular basis. And Edmonton right now continues to push. They're not backing off.
Backhanded in by Roslovic. Savoy follows up on the forecheck. And Niederreiter threw it out of play. That's Delaev's game against Winnipeg. And now the Oilers will go to the power play and have a crack at their first lead. We are tied at 3. Edmonton is stormed
Page 1 of 4.
back.
Select. Calculate. Page 1 of 5. Select go forward. Volume.
But that man, Zach Hyman. Oilers have outshot the Jets 14-0 in the last 15 minutes of this game. And we're tied at 3. Draisaitl wins the faceoff. Curled back to Bouchard by McDavid. Now Edmonton's league best power play looks to give the Oilers their first lead of the night. But Bouchard had one blocked by Barron, crowding him up top. And Pickard will leave it for Bouchard. And again, it hasn't been Calvin Pickard's best night, but that save he made on Gabe Vilardi could have made it 4-1 Jets. Here's Nugent-Hopkins. Bouchard had it tipped away by Lowry, directly to Pionk, and another length of the ice clear. 10 minutes to play, third period. Oilers have rallied from 3-1 down to forge a 3-3 tie. McDavid. Nugent-Hopkins. Hard rim around the boards. Draisaitl knocked off his stick, and Iafallo able to power it back to center. Adam Lowry to Iafallo, shorthanded, chip to Lowry to the net. Backhand blocked by Bouchard. He had Pickard beaten, and Bouchard saved a goal. Now 3-2 Edmonton. Draisaitl to McDavid, trying to give it back to Draisaitl. Pry loose. Bouchard jumps and scores. Power play goal. Evan Bouchard and Edmonton. It's first lead of the night. 4-3.
I just had this conversation with Davis Payne, assistant coach of the Winnipeg Jets, and yours and my friend from back in the day. And I'll tell you what, he says, this power play is one of the few that when the puck is 200 feet from your net, you have to be careful. Great defensive play by Bouchard. He turned the puck over, tried a couple passes on the line that didn't convert, but that defensive play leads the 4-on-2 rush, and he's the late man that gets up the ice, and does he ever bury this one? I'll tell you what, he walks in, picks his spot, the sprawling DeMello trying to take away the lower part of the net. He says, that's fine with me, I'll put it upstairs. And the Oilers have taken their first lead in this game with a power play goal.
Nugent-Hopkins with career assist number 501, the primary feed to Bouchard, and McDavid will pick up a second assist for his second point of the night and 41st in his last 17 games. Third time he's in 17 games in terms of a point streak. Nurse to Podkolzin, snapped ahead to Kasperi Kapanen, and a shot on net. Juicy rebound issued by Hellebuck. Rebound Jack Roslovic. You can almost see Winnipeg's hopes for the season flickering right here.
It was
trailing 4-3.
Tremendous penalty kill, too, for Winnipeg. It was similar to the first power play for Edmonton. The first half of it, they just denied Edmonton a possession, but then Edmonton turned it up in the last minute of that power play. Same here. It looked like nothing was going on the power play, and bam, good defensive play leads to that outnumbered rush, and they convert to take the lead.
Janmark to Frederick, whose fight sparked Edmonton tonight. Emerson, Frederick absorbs a hit from Jilkin down low to Curtis Lazar. Last 17 minutes, you've got 16-0 in favor of Edmonton in the shots on net category.
Well, there's a difference. And I mean, I think they, like I said before, they were content with it when they had a 2-goal lead in the second period. But then once Edmonton started to push, it's changed the game.
Ekholm to McDavid. Backhander fought off by Hellebuck. Rebound thrust in front, and Scheifele picked that one off. Sent across Nugent Hopkins to Bouchard. Edmonton perhaps smelling blood in the water. Shoveled down low for Zach Hyman. It's just amazing to see this Winnipeg club, having won 56 games a year ago, struggling to close it out. Iafallo, and now trailing for the first time. Morrison tipped away by Nugent Hopkins, and here come the Oilers again. McDavid near the end of his shift. Lost it at the line. Scheifele recovers for Winnipeg. Suddenly we're down to 7 minutes to go, and Edmonton's on top. Iafallo to Mark Scheifele. Keon, little spin move on Nugent Hopkins. McDavid had been out there a while. Iafallo centering pass bumped off the stick. McDavid, another good defensive play. He's made a handful tonight. Keon against Kapanen. Starts with a Frederick fight. The McDavid goal with 20 seconds left in the period. And Winnipeg here in the footsteps. Pickard handles a dump in off to Spencer Stastny. 6:20 remaining in the hockey game, and Edmonton has come all the way back to lead 4-3. Dylan Sandberg. DeMello, a strike to Adam Lowry. Hits the line. Stillman able to clear through the middle. We've got a penalty coming against Edmonton here with 6 to play. 20 full minutes now has gone by without Winnipeg registering a shot on net.
Not sure who's taking this penalty, to be honest with you, Jack.
Scheifele, Jonathan Taves taken down, and now the Jets will have an opportunity to tie it. I believe it's a high sticking call.
Looks like Roslovic's heading to the box.
And the Oilers, having scored on the power play to take the lead, will now rely on its kill to protect it. That man, Evan Bouchard, is 9th of the year. The difference right now.
Century Casino. All in, all games, all season. Century Casino. Great locations in Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile Racetrack. Welcome to the winner's zone.
Well, here's the penalty to Jack Roslovic as he's directing traffic, and you see him kind of throw a stick and say, yeah, go that way. And it comes up and clips Adam Lowry. Not a hard one. You have to have control of your stick, though, and this is what you were talking about in the second period into this third, Jack.
More than 20 minutes without a shot on net for Winnipeg, but now that penalty, let's see if it changes the momentum a bit. Off the draw, Morrissey fires, and a save made by Calvin Pickard, and that ends the stretch of 20.5 minutes without a shot on net for the Winnipeg Jets. Bouchard to clear, and Morrissey will have to recover. The Jets struggling power play, 1 for their last 18. Second opportunity tonight. Scheifele tried to feather one over to Velarde. Picked it up. Lost the handle. Savoy with Taves pressuring. Able to get it to Stastny. And here come the Oilers shorthanded. Stastny guides it over to Janmark. Back to Stastny. Edmonton playing a bit of keep away here. It's a smart play by Stastny, recognizing McDavid and change, gave it back to him. And now McDavid trying to catch Winnipeg in a chain. Instead, just throws it back to Evan Bouchard. Well, they got the one shot from distance by Morrissey, but now the Jets see their power play run down to 50 seconds.
Excellent penalty killing. Good skating again by Spencer Stastny. A little give and go. McDavid almost punches through, but elects to turn back and just kill more time off the clock.
Iafallo jams it in. Bouchard, the outlet off of McDavid's stick. But now Niederreiter has to send it across to Neil Pionk for a reload. Pionk unable to slip through the defense of Matt Savoy, whose active stick knocked that puck down and allowed a length of the ice clear. Cole Perfetti. Jets looking a bit demoralized right now. Sent in deep. Stastny in close quarters. With Stanley and Perfetti's pressure. Perfetti back to the point. Shot wide glove side. Rebound hopped over Niederreiter. Swung back to the blue line. Shoveled in by Pionk. Roslovic joining the fray as he's out of the box. He's all over Iafallo, as is Janmark. And it's a reset for the Jets. One shot on the power play. The only shot they've managed in the last 22 minutes. Ekholm. Smashed into by Lowry. Hyman engaged with Morrissey. Snapped by Barron toward the net. Wound up in the corner for Bouchard. And he'll sit back there all night if he has to. Up to say
no rush to get that puck going.
Oilers Plus. Now, live movie camera. Post-game show. Tune in now for live post-game coverage from Winnipeg as the Oilers rally to defeat the Jets 4-3.
Silenced here at Canada Life Center as they've seen the Jets cough up a 3-1 lead. Nurse collects. Back to Spencer Stastny. Leon Draisaitl. Spoons one behind Morrissey. DeMello comes over. 2.5 to go. Janmark with a steal off the half wall. Quick shot to save made by Connor Hellebuck. Rebound Nugent Hopkins snapped it around. Ekholm. McDavid. Carved free by DeMello. Scheifele tried to push ahead for Velarde.
Good recovery and good support there by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, punching back through the pinching defenseman.
Icing Edmonton with 1:57 left.
Pizza 73. Enjoy the Volcano Pizza today, featuring an eruption of peppercorn ranch dip. Order on game day. Pizza 73, the official pizza of the Edmonton Oilers.
Tonight's hit of the game brought to you by James H. Brown Accident Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters in injury law.
Riley Stillman ejected back in the lineup for this game against Winnipeg. He last played against Winnipeg on the 29th, and boom, good check up on the line just to finish his man. Always brings that physical presence. You know exactly what you're going to get from him, and he forced that delay of game penalty on Niederreiter with his physical play as well, stepping up in the line as a timeout has been called here to go over a plan. Davis Payne has the board out for the Winnipeg Jets.
Hellebuck is out. The Jets will go 6-on-5 with an offensive zone face-off and 2 minutes remaining in a game where Winnipeg has exactly one shot in the last 24 minutes. And just the feeling in this building, Louis, I mean, it's dark. These are dark days for the Winnipeg Jets, and what a massive turnaround from where they were just 8 or 9 months ago. Staring at an 11th straight loss, the Oilers trying to complete the comeback by keeping Winnipeg's not power play, but 6-on-5 opportunity at bay. Taves against Connor McDavid. Taves wins the face-off cleanly. Morrissey to Neil Pionk. Nugent Hopkins and Janmark pressure up top. Bouchard defending Velarde down low. Frees it up for Ekholm. Hard off the glass and out. This is going to be an icing call because Morrissey's ahead of Janmark. So a minute 43 now remaining in the third.
Yeah, Janmark thought he might be able to get there. Good job by Morrissey, who's an excellent skater himself, to just get going and not allow Janmark to nullify that icing call. So the faceoff will come to the right of Calvin Pickard. Just a little too hot, that clearing by Ekholm off the wall.
Taves and McDavid again to the right of Pickard. Edmonton with the best record in the league from January through April the last 4 years. McDavid wins the faceoff. It's not out. Scheifele to Morrissey. Neil Pionk. Kyle Connor. Scheifele shot and a save made. Calvin Pickard.
Good movement here by the Jets, and I mean snapping that puck too. And for Scheifele, this one just a little bit out of his reach as far as a one-timer. He wanted that a little more in the wheelhouse. It's a tough pass for Connor, but he makes it. Kyle Connor, that is, as he zips this one through. This is going around the road, and then bam, this one here. It's a hard one, but it's a little slingshotty, the shot by Scheifele. He knows he wants to try and get this there as quick as possible. Velarde standing on the doorstep waiting for anything left over.
Draisaitl sees a poke check by Pickard, but Connor able to regain to Pionk and now Morrissey. Scheifele up top. Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins pressure. A shot redirected right to Zach Hyman up on the glass. And Draisaitl helped up for an out. Yeah, Pionk did not hold that zone. And a lid offside whistled by Travis Toomey. And now we're down to a minute 13 to go.
Game of inches sometimes, and right there, those plays on the blue line so important. And this one just gets out, and Pionk was really close to keeping that alive. They've been really good on the wall in this game when they've pushed the Winnipeg Jets, and they're pushing right now. And Edmonton's having a little more difficulty with an extra attacker on the ice, cleanly getting that puck out of the zone, but that one just gets out.
Draisaitl 67% on draws tonight, lining up against Taves. Neutral zone face-off. Pionk back is kind of the empty net guarder, and Draisaitl won it back to Calvin Pickard. So Hellebuck's still on the bench. Pionk at center will take this clear from Stastny. Spencer Stastny on the ice. Final minute.
Good
One
wait
goal
on that
lead.
clear.
Here's Scheifele dumping it in. Jets, one final push. Less than a minute to go. Net is empty. 6 on 5. Oilers clear it. Morrissey will flick it back to Pionk. Still that safety valve back there. Kyle Connor had it poke checked away. Lost the handle. Stastny over to Nurse. Looks at the empty net. Fires up the gut. Deflected away. Draisaitl able to one-hand it away from Taves and back into the Jet zone. Half minute to go. Edmonton 4, Winnipeg 3. Oilers were down 3-1, looking to complete the comeback. Scheifele coughed it up to Hyman. He chips it through Morrissey. 20 seconds remaining. Scheifele desperate to Velarde. Here's the finish. Velarde bangs it down low. Scheifele around the boards.
Gmail, now, Instagram, Hayden Ross Cardinal Official, catch up on moments you've missed, Gals 1993, if Finless and others posted something new. Catch up on Instagram, Gals 1993, if Finless and others posted something new. Open Instagram when you have one notification you may not have seen. This.
Edmonton finishes off a 4-3 win in Winnipeg. The Oilers sweep the season series and retain their hold on first place in the Pacific.
What a turnaround in this game. And it was the dig-in the second period for the Edmonton Oilers, in my opinion. They started to go to work shift after shift, winning battles, creating chances. Trent Frederick goes out there, spirited scrap with Stanley, and Connor McDavid continues his great play. 17 games now with a point. Pushes it to a one-goal game into the third period. They did not look back after that. They came out flying in the third, eventually tied on that goal by Hyman and Bouchard's power play goal. The game-winning goal, and then to close it out in the end. Just a good team effort once again. Started off slow for Edmonton, but they were the stronger finishers.
A league record 13th consecutive defeat for the Winnipeg Jets in a one-goal game. And Edmonton celebrates back-to-back wins. 4-3 over the Winnipeg Jets tonight. Bouchard the game winner. A final word when we come back.
Rogers Oilers Hockey on Sport.